Story title: One Summer, One Lake, and You. Narrated story: approx. 6,000 words. Chapter 1. The surprise Elvin Davis had just finished college with honors. Weeks after graduating, he joined his father Glenn's architecture firm, a predictable, stable path. But deep inside, Elvin felt something missing. Life felt flat. So when his father told him to pack a bag for a surprise family vacation, he welcomed the mystery. After a long drive through winding forest roads, they arrived at a cozy wooden cabin facing a shimmering blue lake. Wildflowers lined the porch, and a small wooden boat bobbed gently at the dock. "What is this place?" Elvin asked, amazed. Glenn smiled proudly. "Surprise! I bought this cabin last month. And the boat too. Thought it was time for our own getaway spot." Elvin was speechless. The fresh air, the peaceful silence, the glistening lake, it felt like the start of something new. "We're fishing for dinner tonight," Glenn added. "But first, unpack." As they loaded the boat, a cheerful female voice called from the neighboring cabin. "Hi, welcome. Are you the new neighbors?" A young woman with light brown hair, bright eyes, and a carefree smile approached. "Hi, I'm Elvin. This is my dad Glenn, and my mom Eliza." "Nice to meet you," she said. "I'm Gladis. Been living here for 2 years. You guys going fishing?" "Yeah," Elvin said. "Wanna join us?" She raised an eyebrow. "Is that an invitation?" "Absolutely." Gladys grinned. "Give me 5 minutes. I've got my own fishing gear." Elvin watched her walk away with a smile he couldn't quite hide. And just like that, the adventure began. Chapter 2. Of water and laughter fishing. That afternoon was less about fish and more about laughter. Glenn nearly fell into the lake twice. Melissa brought a picnic of sandwiches and lemonade. Gladys showed Elvin how to cast a line, though he was far more interested in watching her than catching fish. They shared stories, teased each other, and by sunset, Elvin felt like he had known her much longer than just a few hours. As the sun dipped below the trees and painted the sky orange, Elvin looked at Gladys sitting at the edge of the boat, feet dangling over the water, and thought, maybe this is exactly what I needed. Chapter 3. Into the Woods. The next morning, Gladys knocked on the Davises' cabin door with a basket in hand. "Hiking day, you in?" she asked Elvin. They hiked the forest trail that led to a small waterfall. Gladys pointed out wild herbs and edible plants, told stories of animals she'd seen, and laughed when Elvin jumped at the sound of a squirrel. When they reached the waterfall, she stripped down to a swimsuit under her shirt and dove in. "You coming, or just gonna stare?" Elvin grinned and jumped after her. The cold water shocked his skin, but made him feel alive. They swam, splashed, and sat on the rocks afterward, drying under the sun. "You always like this?" he asked. "Only around people worth it," she said with a wink. Chapter 4. The Town Fair. That night, Melissa casually mentioned there was a summer fair in the nearby town. "You two should go," she said with a smile that wasn't exactly subtle. The town was straight out of a postcard. Cobblestone streets, handmade crafts, glowing lanterns, and the smell of fresh popcorn and grilled corn. Gladys and Elvin walked together, played games, shared cotton candy, and laughed like teenagers. Under the fireworks, she leaned into him. "I'm really starting to like this summer." "Me too." Then came their first kiss. Fireworks in the sky, music in the background, and a kiss that felt like a promise of something real. Chapter 5. The Moment of Doubt. A few days later, Glenn asked Elvin for help with work documents. "I know you're having fun, but you need to remember your responsibilities." Elvin reluctantly agreed, missing an afternoon he had planned with Gladys. She waited by the lake and waited. Then she left. When Elvin came to apologize, she was quiet. "I get it," she said softly. "Just thought I was more of a priority today." "You are," he said. "I'm just still figuring out how to not disappoint my father." "Do you think this, us, could work outside of this place?" He looked at her, the stars reflecting in her eyes. "I don't know, but I want to find out." Chapter 6. The Last Day. The vacation ended too soon. The car was packed. Elvin stood by the porch, reluctant. Gladys came over with a small box. Inside was an old brass compass. "It reminds me that no matter how lost you feel, if you know what you want, you'll find your way." Elvin looked at her. "I don't want this to end." "Then don't let it." He turned to his parents. "Can I stay a few more days?" Glenn exchanged a look with Melissa, then nodded. "It's your decision, son." Elvin set his suitcase back down. "Now what?" Gladys asked, smiling. "Now, I take you fishing, and then I take you to dinner tomorrow." She laughed and kissed him again. This time, there was no goodbye, only the beginning.